Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. My name is Sarah. Today I want to talk about a few ways, basically 3 ways that I have started like homesteading in an apartment while still living in town because I don't quite have the space to do a ton. What I'm doing to start slow and like little tiny baby steps that I can start practicing, so when I have more room I will be able to have more vegetables and more availability for a bigger project. My teeny tiny garden, which I've actually been able to start this little small garden in the past 2 weeks. So far I have some little loofah seeds and plants. I basically grew them in an egg carton and I had 6 seeds and they're all coming up. And apparently these are very hard to grow, so I'm quite surprised that my first time around they're actually growing, because I read online how growing loofah sponges are very difficult. So I followed the instructions and I basically soaked them for 48 hours. First you soak them in hot water, then I kind of scraped the sides with like a sponge to make them more soft, and then I soaked them for like 24 hours, maybe a little longer, and within a week they're like popping up like crazy. So now I need to move them to where I'm gonna have a little garden. I also have mint, rosemary, and lavender. And I'm trying to grow some grape seeds here. I'm trying to grow grape seeds, but I'm having no luck. So this is my little mini greenhouse. That's how I grew the loofahs, underneath this. And I want to try to grow peppers. So I basically just took the seeds out of a pepper and I'm drying them. And when they're dry, I'm gonna put, I don't know if this was gonna work. I grew up on a farm and we always did this, but we always used seeds from the store. So I'm trying to actually use seeds that I don't have to buy, that you already have. I'm assuming that has to work, right? I'll show you where I actually end up putting my compost. If you haven't seen that video of building it, the video is not great, but the compost is working pretty well. So I put it here. I was reading online, I think I'm doing like a hot compost. Well, number 1, because it's really hot here. We'll see, I just started it, but it actually is, I think it's gonna compost rather quickly. So I've been doing a lot of research on how to compost better. So I was reading that you need like certain parts like nitrogen, certain parts green, certain parts food. So I kind of have a little mix in there, like cardboard, a little bit, and I'm trying to use everything that we do from the house that we can go in there. And I have like a list of what not to put in there for everyone I live with. So far, I'm just the only one adding to it. So I have a little bowl. So far, I only have 1 tomato plant in my garden, but it's doing so well. It's doing so well. It is so hot here that everything just grows so fast. So basically my goal is to plant some more tomatoes, but I live in a really small town and the only way to get seeds, I'm gonna have to go to Medellin probably, or at least an hour and a half, 2 hours away to buy seeds. So I was reading that you can a whole tomato, and plant it in the ground, so I'm gonna try that too. So I'm gonna try to plant as much as possible from things that I can buy or already have or find or have been given. Also, it's like a way to do sustainability also. And I started fermenting foods because that's something else you can do. So while living in an apartment, you can do like quite a few things, I realized. So I started a mini garden, which I kind of have a lot of room now that I'm thinking about it for a garden. But you can start the herbs on your deck, on your porch. You can start a compost near your sink. And you can start, oh wait, is that a... Oh, I think this is a... Ooh. I think this is actually... Oh, perfect. That's a house plant that someone must have planted out here a long time ago. I'm going to use it. you can start fermenting. I started fermenting. I'll show you my little tiny jar of fermenting things. I'm starting out really small because I don't want to waste food, and so far it's doing good, because if I saw mold I would just toss it, but it's been almost a week and no mold, so it's sauerkraut. My next step is I'm gonna learn how to make a ginger starter, which I can use to make like fermented probiotic drinks, sort of like kombucha but a little bit different. But we don't have kombucha here, so I can't get a SCOBY, because normally SCOBY you start from kombucha. So I'm making like a ginger, it's called like, I'll link it down below, the recipe I'm using. It's like a ginger starter to make like ginger beer, ginger tea, ginger like pops and stuff like that, or sodas, but all probiotic stuff. So those are like the 3 things. And I started making my own like breads. Well, I made bread last night for the first time and actually turned out good. I used it for like pizza dough, but I'm trying to like learn how to make things from scratch, so that when because I want to go be more self-sustainability, so when I have more land and less resources, I already know how to do things. So I think that's just a good place to start if you're thinking about being more sustainable, especially because I'm living in a small town. We don't have as much stuff as I'm used to when I lived in like a big city. So I'm kind of thinking about new ways to start things and ways to reduce my like waste as well with everything I have. So I'll show you my little teeny fermentation thing. No, no, no está bien. No, está bien. It's just gonna smell now. Okay. Esto, okay? Okay, so maybe put it there.
Look at that, how much dye is in it.